Hey y'all, welcome back to the garage. Today, in the last video, we made the spacer blocks to get the transmission mounted in and everything. And so we got those all made, so we are ready to mount the transmission. We just gotta do some cutting and a little cleaning and we'll get her in there. So let's get on her. Y'all, we're over at Brother Bear's, and the sanding belt sander was working, but it was taking a long time to trim them up to exactly what I wanted. So we decided to come over and throw it in the lathe, and we're trimming them down, getting them good and square. So we'll set a camera up here and show you all what we're doing, so hang on. Alright y'all, I am not a professional machinist. I know enough just to get myself in trouble, so we've got the piece chucked up here. We're gonna bring her up and alright, there's that side. I'll take her out of the chuck. I'm going to measure it. See how much we need to take off the other end to get it good and square. Alright, we just need to touch off on this side here and get it good and clean. So alright, check this one more time here. Can't get much closer than that. So alright, get this out of the chuck and I'll show you all what I'm talking about. Alright y'all, here's a piece we just had in the lathe, and we want 1.75 we're a little bit under. Go that way and we're right on. So hey, it's just a pulling tractor. So alright, that there's 6 more to go, or 5 more to go, so I'm gonna do that, and we'll bring y'all back when we get it all done. Alright y'all, we got those spacers all cleaned up on the lathe over at Brother Bear's. I did bring them back here, put them on the belt sander, cut around the edges and stuff a little bit, got them cleaned up stuff, ready to install. But before we can do that, we need to do some cutting on the frame. Need to cut chunk out here so the rear end will come out, and we got to cut these side pieces off so the transaxle can come up in. So I don't know about you all, but I can't cut a straight line with a grinder to save my life, even if I have a straight line here. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna clamp a piece on here, about like that. Hopefully I got my, there we go. That, get up under here. That one's way off. Alright, now I can cut down across there with the grinder and be somewhat accurate, I guess. So, alright, let's get to cutting. Alright y'all, I got the transmission in the frame, square and level. This is not how I planned on these to be. I thought they would be up in here, but to use that front hole and get the transmission level, this is where they got to be roughly. Bad part about it is when I was cutting this plate off, I did cut through the frame in there. Not a real big deal. I kind of bent it a little bit getting the piece broke off, but I can take some angle iron or something and lay in there, pull it back up. Well, first grind it, pull it back up, and then sorry, my light's flashing here. Get it pulled back up into place and weld it on the inside, which ain't a big deal. But I'm having second thoughts here. If my drive shaft is going to line up with the engine, if it was too high, the transmission was too high in the chassis, no big deal, we space the motor up. If it's too low, it's really hard to drop the engine in the frame more. So I'll get you guys off the tripod here and kind of show you what I'm looking at. Alright y'all, what I'm looking at here is the input shaft of the transmission. I kind of used a level on the top of it and kind of went across, and it's not going to line up just right. The transmission is too low, so I need to do a little more figuring, a little more looking, and see what we got going on. But I have not ordered the clutch and stuff for this yet. I probably need to do that, get it in, get that drive line level, and then we can figure out where we need to be. So let me do a little more figuring and looking and scratching my head, and we'll bring you guys back. Alright y'all, here's what I'm looking at. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I got the straight edge in there, the level. It's pretty straight. I got it set at the exact lean of the frame, which is about 4 to 5 degrees, and the back of the level is sitting on the nose of the on top of the input shaft. And if you come up here and look, that is down past by probably a good ½ inch the center line of the crank on the motor. So this thing has to come up Sorry about that. This thing's going to have to come up a good half an inch. Might just make it an inch. I am not sure yet, but yeah, we're in a predicament here, and yeah. So let me do a little more head scratching here and thinking, and we'll bring you all back. Alright, y'all. Got a shaft in there now that it is running at the same angle as the transmission, which the frame is, like I said, the frame is sitting at an angle. So we got it on there, and it comes through. I got it clamped so it doesn't move up and down, and y'all can see right there, that is how much we are off. Yeah, that's about 1.25 inches low. So roughly we got to bring that transmission up 1.25 inches. So that will probably be just about where my blocks were intended to be. So, or I thought my blocks would be. And if you can see there too, the shaft's a little off to the right hand side. We are going to have to move the steering, because that shaft is tight up against the steering column there. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. No big deal. Just like everything else on this thing. But yeah, that 1.25 inches there, that's roughly 1.25 inches. Let me grab my tape measure here. See if we can't get down here. If you guys can see there, that's about 1.25 inches if we're centered up on that shaft there. I mean, a little out of whack's not bad, but we can't have 1.25 inches. So that'll break the couplers, and the pins go through the couplers and stuff. It'll definitely break them. So all right, on to the next debacle, I guess. So I gotta figure out, we're gonna have to relay out the holes and stuff here. So all right, I'll bring you back when I make a decision. All right, y'all, we got that lined up, leveled up. It's running true with the frame. Like I said, that I think that is right where my right where I thought my blocks would be. Just a lucky guess, I guess, but I think I'm going to go ahead and move it back 1 inch, because if you look over here, you can see that bracket for the fenders, or for the running boards. If we move that hole back 1 inch, we'll get off of that and not have to drill through it, because it's like right on the edge of it. But yeah, I think if we move her back 1 inch, won't hurt us any. The transmission won't stick out any past the frame, at least not too much. And my notch I cut up there, going up 1.25 inches, it'll bring it right up in that hole. So you know, I mean, move back at least 1/2 inch, just to get off that fender bracket. So yeah, I think I'm gonna scribe a line across the top of that so I can keep it square or level, however you want to call it, and make a reference mark on that, and we'll see how far we need to move it back to get off that fender. So I'm thinking at least a ½ an inch, maybe 3/4. So let me get that done, and we'll bring you back. Alright, y'all, we are at the basically the point of no return. So I'm just going to double check my measurements one last time. Make sure that we are on there. On there. Yep, we're pretty well on there, so alright. Here goes nothing. I'm just gonna go in here and make a mark. And double check my measurement, because I've seen that board wiggle just a hair. Hopefully we're gonna be pretty well close to being so. Alright, I got a mark in there. Let's get a mark in these ones. Alright, I'll take my template out and drill those holes, so hang on. Alright, y'all, we hit that point of no return. We drilled the holes. We just missed that bracket, which ain't a big deal. The spacers are going to be welded to the frame, so it's not going to be structural. The only issue I ran into, you guys can see right there, I am off just about 1/8 of an inch. I got to bring it down this way here. I think I'll just use a die grinder, clearance that out. And like I said, these holes through this frame are just like reference, because we will be welding the spacers in and putting braces and stuff on them, and that's actually what's going to be holding, you know, these are just through holes basically. So alright, we'll get this stuff cleaned up. It's getting late out here. I think I'm ready to go in for the day. So yeah, this is we'll pick this up tomorrow. Alright, y'all, it's another day. Last night before I went in, I went ahead and dropped it in, got the bolts in front and back, and everything lined up okay. I mean, so I got this side here all set up and ready to drill, but I'm gonna have to come in here on the inside of the frame. That bolt right there is almost dead in line with where I need to drill my hole at, plus it's gonna be where the spacer needs to go. So I'm gonna take the grinder and get that cut out of there, and we'll drill our holes and finish putting these spacers in. So alright, y'all, we got that bolt head or that bolt all ground out of there, and what I did is I cut the shank off and went to use the grinding wheel to grind the head off, and it wouldn't, I mean, I couldn't get the grinder in there good. So I picked this thing up a month or two ago for another project, nothing for on here on YouTube, but It's the Bauer little bandsaw, and this thing, it ate right through that head. So yeah, don't know how long it'll last, you know, but yeah, this little band sander, it's not a band saw, I'm sorry, it's a band sander. Yeah, her belt sander, it's paid for itself already. I bought it on sale for like, I don't know, like 25 bucks or 35 bucks, something like that. Come with some extra belts. Yeah, it worked great. So, all right, let's get to drilling those holes on the other side now. All right, y'all, got all 6 of them spacers in there. I think before we go and weld them all in solid, we should get the clutch and get it kind of in place. So I think the next move is to start pulling the steering out of this thing, because I know I'm going to have to move it to get lined up. So yeah, we'll get working on that. We'll start by pulling the steering wheel off, and then well, I'll show you everything. Alright, yeah, there's a support bearing right there under the steering, under the dashboard. And then we got to come down here, and there's 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on the other side, and the steering linkage down there. And we can get that steering column pulled out of there. Hopefully we can get it kind of moved over and enough. If not, we may have to end up going with a Cub Cadet style. So I don't know. We'll cross that bridge, like I said, when we get to it. So let me get this all loosened up and pulled out, and we'll move on to the next. Alright, y'all, we got the steering column all out. That was a little bit more of a pain than I thought. You can kind of see down in there that well, kind of see down in there where I had to sand a little bit on that frame. It has a little bit of a lip, and I think the thing was designed to come up out, but even at up out you can't do it. But so I just sanded a little bit off that frame back there on each side, and you can kind of see how it's triangular shape. She slid right down out then. So I think we are going to have to go with a Cub Cadet style steering column to get it over and out of the way, which ain't no big deal. We can do it. We got the technology. I've got my tester shaft in there, and she looks like she's running pretty level. I did check on a clutch setup. I was going to buy a whole brand new 4-puck driver, puck, everything, throwout arm, shaft, everything, spring. Yeah, it's over $400. So I think we're going to go over there behind the plastic wall and get the clutch set up by the little red. It's double disc. It's way overkill for the stock motor, but yeah, I ain't gonna spend $400 on this tractor. If I was building, you know, that frame there with a bigger motor, I'd spend it. But you know, we're trying to do this on the cheap, so yep, we're gonna do it that way. I thought about trying to find just a stock clutch and everything, but I'd have to buy discs and a whole bunch of other stuff. I know that clutch over there is good, so we're gonna go with it. Alright, y'all, that's gonna do it for this video. We got the trans all mounted in. Seems like it's running pretty true, square in the frame and leveled up through. We just need to start working on the clutch setup now. Like I said, I'm gonna have to get over in my storage area there and grab the clutch out of Little Red. Like I said, it's not the clutch I wanted to use, but it is what it is. If we ever decide to put a bigger V-twin in this tractor, you know, which may happen down the road, you know, we got the clutch and stuff to do it. So appreciate y'all watching. Alright, on the next video we'll be working on the clutch setup and getting it in. Might have to make a driver that bolts onto the back of the flywheel, but it is what it is when you're doing custom pulling tractor builds. So remember, y'all, hit that like button, please leave a comment, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell if you want to continue watching this series on swapping this Cub Cadet rear end into this Montgomery Ward pulling tractor, and what all it takes to do the custom setup. So catch you all on the next one.